Hello, and welcome to the Knights in the Nightmare Let's Play. This is video 9, covering Scene 6. The music today is from Etrian Odyssey 4. The song is called The Redstone Forest. Thanks for the suggestion, Awstriker. So, last time we recruited a new knight class, the Duelist, and we got a chance to use her specialty, which is hopping up to blocks on a higher elevation. So, we have another unit type that can move around on the battlefield. But this one can overcome any height disparity. One thing I didn't point out in the video, but there is something that you need to take into consideration when hopping around with a duelist. Duelists are similar to warriors in that they can only face northwest or northeast. Now, consequentially, they can only hop northwest or northeast. What that means is that it's quite possible for them to get up onto a high-level block and then get stuck there. In fact, last scene I did just that. I had Erica, our new duelist, jump to a really high block. At that point I switched her out and put in Dreas, our archer, in her spot. And that worked fine for the rest of the stage. But I should have pointed out there was no way down from that block. It wouldn't have mattered if I took Dreas out and put any other knight in there. Regardless of who I put in, they would have been stuck up there. So it is possible to corner yourself with a duelist. Now, as long as you think it through before moving, it shouldn't be a problem. But it is something to watch. Anyway, after we went over the duelist class, we got in some gameplay, and then I went into a discussion about the hide mechanic. I'm a big fan of that, and now that it's explained, I'll use it more often. Finally, as far as the plot is concerned, we saw a flashback in which some knights were gossiping about the wedding between the prince and the princess of the Tiamats. The narration seemed to imply that there were some people opposed to the marriage, but the knights we saw seemed to think it was a good idea. I guess the ones opposed to the marriage were behind the scenes. Anyway, we then saw a cutscene in present time in which Peach's grandfather was named Capehorn. And it looks like he was giving orders to a woman named Aquina. During the cutscene, Capehorn was told about the theft of the king's soul, and he seemed a little taken back. He basically had to convince himself that it was not important that the soul was stolen. Basically, he was acting a little shady. It was also revealed that the Tiamat princess is missing. Aquina seems to be searching for her, but is not making any progress. And briefly, they also discussed the prince. Now, the gist I got from that conversation was that they were trying to cover up the whole prince thing. However, it was pretty vague, so maybe I shouldn't make guesses like that. Anyway, I think that catches us up. So, let's check out the next scene. Well, and here we are. Let's see what knights we can recruit. I see a yellow knight, so I guess his elemental affinity is lightning. Let's hold the stylus to him and see what his story is. Okay, Alonso Updike, another lance knight. Well, can't have too many of those guys. And we have the yellow banner, so we know we can recruit him. Okay, I see a purple silhouette way up there. Let's see who it is. Rolenta Ellenhart, another hermit, and another yellow banner, so we're in business. Alright, that leaves one more silhouette, a green one. Let's check it out. Rolf Rollinger, and he's a wizard. So we have a new knight class here, the wizard. Alright, great. If we hold the stylus to Rolf, then of course we get his attack range. And right off the bat, we can see that he's facing southwest or southeast. We're currently in law phase, so let's see what we have. It looks like he can attack a single square and it cycles down the line. So kind of like an archer in that regard, but the similarities actually end there. This attack that Rolf is demonstrating is referred to as a gram in the game, and it's basically a trap. So once he charges, he can wait for the desired square to light up, and then release the gram, where it will wait for a while until an enemy walks over it. Once the enemy stands on that square, then the gram triggers and the enemy gets attacked. Now, as you might expect, the enemy has to be one that uses ground-type movement in order to trip the gram, so flyers will not activate it. Personally, I don't like to use grams that often. I find them kind of dull, but we'll be sure to try them out a little. Alright, let's check out Chaos Phase. Actually, before I get talking, let's actually switch Rolf with Rolenta. He's not in a good spot to demonstrate his attack. So, Rolenta, you are out. Rolf, you are out. Rolf, you are back in. And Rolenta, you are back in. Alright, so we have Rolenta in Rolf's spot and Rolf in Rolenta's spot. Now let's see his Chaos attack. So I think you can see that covers a lot of ground. A Wizard's Chaos Phase attack in this game is actually what you'd expect from a Mage class. It's basically a nuke. And it does quite a bit of damage, but as you'd expect, there are some drawbacks. First off, the charge time is pretty long on it, so it takes a lot of time away from your time limit when you charge. Secondly, the attack animation is kind of long as well, so you have to time it well. It's actually pretty easy for an enemy to wander out of the attack before it hits. So in that regard, you have to be careful. Alright, I think that covers Wizards. And it looks like we have Rolf's key item, judging by the yellow banner. So good, we'll have a Wizard. I actually want to talk a little bit more about Rolf and his character, but we'll save that till after the battle. And there's some NPCs around like usual. Let's see who they are. Isabel Arena Ragford, and I have her key item. Raphael Krishner here, and another yellow banner. Ruben Rick Levine, and I don't seem to have his key item. Alright. Levine though, huh? That rings a bell. We had a warrior named Michel, but I trans-sold him to Johan a few videos ago. Anyway, his full name was Michel Karim Levine. Well, it turns out this NPC is his grandfather. So we'll be sure to listen in on this guy's thoughts and see if he mentions Michel. Alright, I think that covers NPCs. What about the objects on the field? Well, let's see. We have a barrel here and a crate here. So those two things would be considered containers. And that means we have to be cautious when beating on them, or else they'll bypass the open status and trap the key item inside. Looks like we have a bridge here we can beat up as well. Now this bridge does in fact act as a bridge, so if we utterly destroy it, then neither enemies or any knights could walk over it. We would actually need to get a warrior there to destroy it, and I don't think I'll bother. Alright, let's devise a plan here. If we leave Rolf where he is, he should be able to cover quite a bit in Chaos Phase. In fact, look at this. There are two enemies on the field with the same elemental affinity, neutral. This guy and this guy. That's an interesting choice by the developers. And it looks like Rolf could actually cover both of them in Chaos Phase. So, it would behoove us to give Rolf a lightning weapon, since that does double damage to neutral enemies. And the game is even nice enough to tell us that directly if we hold the stylus to one of these guys. The red banner at the top says, use lightning on neutral. Alright, my pleasure. Let's see if we have a lightning-based chaos weapon for a wizard. So, I'll sort by wizards, and then, oh, lightning. Okay, one weapon there, jewel rod. And, yep, looks like it'll work in Chaos Phase. So that pretty much settles that. We're going to keep Rolf in that upper corner there and let him nuke away. And honestly, it looks like this blue guy's going to get caught in the crossfire as well. You know, it's conceivable that Rolf could kill everyone by himself. Alright, he has a weapon. Before I get carried away, we better equip some key items. So, let's load up Rolf's. I sure want to be able to recruit him. Okay, talisman for Rolf. And we can go ahead and grab Alonso's too. That leaves one last space in our inventory, right here. Well, let's see. What we could do is have Alonso here as a Lance Knight, make him move up to here, and then beat on this crate and get the key item out. Then, after that, he could even move over to here, and then pound on the barrel and get that key item as well. I think that should work out alright. So let's give him a law weapon. Alright. Alright, we've seen this trio of weapons before. Paladin Lance, once again, level 10. Alonso, going by his silhouette, he's only level 7. He cannot wield it. So, take away that one. So we're back down to the Halberd and the Darkish. Now, doing some quick math tells us that the Darkish does much more damage. For that reason, I'm inclined to take the Halberd. It's less likely to overdamage the containers that way. Now, having said that, if I do give Alonso the Halberd, he'll be stuck with a neutral element weapon with 2 neutral enemies nearby. So he won't be able to help kill him very much. Based on that, I think I'm going to take the Darkish. I think we'll be okay with the containers, even if I do a full charge. But, one way to find out, right? By the looks of things, Rolenta might not have a lot to do this round. Well, she's not mandatory for my big plan here, so let's have her stand by there and be available for gem farming should the need arise. I think that should do it. Let's give it a shot. Defeat enemies and fill 1 line of kill markers within 10 turns. I don't think that'll be a problem. Let's check it out. Alright, we'll begin by talking to the knights as usual.
I will show no mercy.
Interesting. So Ralph is referencing a Tiamat. Once again, the Tiamats are basically this ostracized race of people. We don't know very much about them. However, we do know that the Tiamat princess was intended to marry our prince, and that was supposed to help the relations between the kingdoms. But that didn't work out too well, did it? So apparently Alonso has a history with Bon. We don't have Bon anymore. We transsold him to Moira. Interesting though. I wonder if those two are buddies. Alright, Ralph will join us. Rolf, excuse me. Alonso's on board now. Let's move him up. Switch to Ralph phase. Beat on this crate. Please don't break the crate. Alright, key item. Oh. Gonna move Alonso over to hit on that barrel. Hit on it. Alright, key item gotten. This final object here, the bridge, Rolf, I keep calling him Ralph. Rolf should be able to hit it with his nuke attack. So,
Can you withstand this?
alright, we got a kill. Oh, and a blob got his segment up off.
Can you withstand this?
Alright, I have no more magic points. I gotta farm those. So, Rolenta, let's see what hits you can get. Good job.
Can you withstand this?
Alright, Skeleton being a skeleton needs one last hit before he'll actually die.
Can you withstand this?
We also got the bridge busted and took the key item from it. Alright, I think we have a pretty decent setup here, so let's push on. We need to give Rolenta her key item, so let's load it up. And let's take away Rolf's Jewel Rod and give him a Law Phase weapon. He'll be able to lay a Graham, and we'll demonstrate how that works. And actually, we have an Ice Guy here. Now, unfortunately, he won't be in the line of fire for it. I think we'll actually keep the Lightning Rod in this round, and we'll do the Graham next time. I'll get a different enemy for it. Alright. Oh, we should start giving the NPCs their key items as well. So, Isabel, we'll start with you. I think we're ready to go.
Engage.
Nope. Doesn't want to show any emotion, I guess.
I will show no mercy.
Alright, Liz. We don't know who that is yet. Alright, first on the docket, getting some gems.
Going all out. The enemy's hurt. This is it. For our country. Going all out.
I missed. And I ran right into a bubble.
The enemy's hurt. For our country. Going all out. The enemy's hurt. Going all out.
Let's actually land some blows here. Oh, dang. I want to wait for that skeleton to come back. Look at that. Alright, you stand by.
Can you withstand this? It worked! Break out! Can you withstand this? It worked! I'll take you down.
Man, I'm getting kills in my...
Can you withstand this?
Killed a blob at least. Let's hit that witch. She's high level, so this is going to be tough to kill.
Break out! The enemy's hurt. I will
In fact, she still has most of her health bar here. It's probably not even worth attacking her. Alright, hopefully I get that skeleton. Skeleton's down, just need to hit him one last time. Nope, and my time has expired, so that's that. Yeah, C+. Yeah, that's about right. Alright, let's get us a blue blob if that's available. No. No, this isn't going to work out, is it? Alright, let's grab the blue witch. And these guys I'm not too worried about. Let's go ahead and swap out the chaos weapon for Rolf and give him... the witch is an ice enemy, so we'll give him a fire weapon in Law Phase if we have one. Yep, Ruby Staff, that's just the ticket. Now, if you remember from last time when we checked out this witch, her special note is if she finds a Graham, So we'll see what happens. I presume she'll turn it against us or something, but we'll check it out. In the meantime, let's take out Rolenta, because Moira is our hermit we're going to use. Rolenta's recruited now, so she doesn't have to stay on the field. What else we need to get done here? A new enemy. I guess we better check this out. Alright, more grist for the mill. Let us give... actually, you know what? This is kind of a tough spot for hermits. She could help kill this witch, I suppose. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and throw in some fire daggers. I don't know if this is going to be necessary or not. Normally I think Rolf would be able to handle it, but I don't know what that witch is actually going to do to his Graham. It's probably just going to... Like I said, she's probably going to turn it against us. Alright, Alonso, unfortunately, is not doing a whole lot of damage to these neutral guys, and that's because Darkness, which is this darkish, doesn't do full damage to neutral. There's a huge rock, paper, scissors thing going on, which I've not taken the time to explain. Unfortunately, we really don't have a lot of options here. Our choices are neutral, which that's going to be just terrible. Darkish will do 50% damage, neutral will do 25%. Lightning would be perfect, but it's level 16, he can't wield it. That's too bad. Well, I guess we're stuck with the Darkish. The other option, of course, would be pull him out. We could try Johann, see how he would do. He'd do a decent job, I guess. Yeah. Johann could probably beat up this thing pretty good. Let's see if we have any weapons for him. Alright, we actually have a lightning-based law weapon for warriors. So that should take care of this thing pretty easy. We have a half-baked plan for killing some of these things. Moira's probably going to have to do most of the work with her fire weapon. Alright, let's give it a shot. And like an idiot, I forgot to load up more key items for the NPCs, so I'll have to do that next time. Alright. Rolf, let's lay a Graham and see what happens. So there it is on the field. Graham's labeled. Come on, witch, step on it. I want you to turn it against me. Oh my gosh, where's she going? The Graham doesn't last forever, it'll fade away eventually. Nope, there she sees it and... Oh, she swept it away! Alright, that was cute. I did not expect that. Oh, that's funny. Let's do it again. Oh, I need more magic points. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Johann. Man. Good grief. Alright, Graham is down again. Let's see if she does it again. Oh, come on, witch. Yeah, she goes. She's sweeping it away. Okay, that is too cute. Holy shit, we actually got a kill too. Didn't expect that. Alright, we have 3 seconds. Can Moira charge enough to land a blow? Yes, you can. Not a full blow. Out. And like an idiot, I swing at nothing. No, wasn't your fault, Moira. See, I'm not doing so hot, am I? Alright, we do have a few flashing white monsters. I guess one. So if I kill that one, then of course the round ends. I'm not ready for that to happen. I still have to get rid of my key items. So I definitely want to avoid him. Let's grab you and you, high level witch. And these losers, I don't care. Alright, I've had enough of those grams. I'm going to switch back in. I take that back. I have to demonstrate it. And of course I picked a flyer who won't trip the gram. We might not get a gram in this time, guys. We'll try again next time, maybe. I really just want to put this behind me. So, Jewel Rod back in. We also get pretty good coverage there. The witch is going to be kind of hard to hit. I probably should pull out Johann. I could put in Dreas, but then I'd have to give him a lightning rod, or excuse me, lightning bow if possible. Let's see what we got. Yeah, that'll work. I think Dreas has her number. Rolf should be able to nuke the hell out of the top area. And Moira's there to land fire hits too. Okay, this should work. I only have one lousy stinking magic point. I need to be more careful here. Oh my god. I forgot the key items again. Alright, that's okay.
Can you withstand this? It worked!
Alright, Moira, I need some gems. Please help. Thank you very much.
Can you withstand this?
Gotta kill Rolf. Let's kill the witch. She would go into range, that is. Come on, witch.
Can you withstand this?
Alright, she's down. And Rolf hit that flying guy in the crossfire, so the flying guy's stunned. Maybe Rolf can get a cheap hit off of it. Excuse me, Dreas hit him.
Can you withstand this? It worked!
Alright, before I kill this guy, I'm going to get some cheap hits off in Law Phase, and hopefully farm some gems. Or maybe not. Oh my gosh. The enemies are just not cooperating this time.
You're going down. It worked! You're gonna get it! Attack! You're going down. It worked! You're going down.
Yeah, you know, enough's enough.
I will show no mercy.
Oh, just one step more, buddy.
Can you withstand this?
Alright. Against all odds, another win. Jeez. Alright, we have quite a few flashing enemies this time. I don't want to kill anybody till I get the key items delivered to the NPCs. So maybe I should focus for once, huh? Well, as far as blue enemies are concerned, I don't have a choice. Any one I pick is going to be, will end the turn if I kill them. Well, let's go with anyone then. I don't really care. Okay, I can go. That skeleton or that ghost or that flyer would be alright for this enemy. And then the final spot, any enemy once again. So, yikes. Alright, I've given Isabel her key item. I still need to give Raphael his. And then, of course, I didn't even have Ruben's. So, Raphael, where's your item? There we go. Okay. This is really sloppy, but we'll see what happens. I think that we're good to go. Give Ruben his item, get his weapon he gives me, and then all bets are off. Just kill, kill, kill.
Engage!
Okay, don't know who Krozef is, but we'll keep that in mind. Okay, and that guy saw the item, so he made a move for it like a dick. Alright. Well, before we finish this round, there is one thing I wanted to talk about a little bit. There's something that the tutorial makes very clear. They're very distinct about this, buried within the tutorial, that is. But they make a big point to mention that only one attack can be active at a time. So, what happens if you have two attacks going at once? The first one is cancelled, and the second one is the one that gets carried through. So, let me demonstrate. Let's say that I charge up Moira. And I put her on ready status, like that. And there she sits, she's ready to let loose on my mark. And then, let's say I grab Rolf and charge up him. And charge him up, alright, he's good. Now if I attack now, and then immediately attack with Moira, she cancels his attack, and only hers goes through. So, I was thinking about that, and it kind of occurred to me, well, that's too bad. Because wouldn't that be cool if you could do something like that and set up combo attacks? And I don't know how they would do it, you know, fire and ice, so you've made some kind of an antipode thing, or, you know, double fire, well, that's super hot, you know, something like that, I don't know. So I guess I have to say I consider that something of a missed opportunity. Now, I don't know why the developers made that decision. The way it was presented made me think, yeah, they did it on purpose. There's a reason why they wanted it that way. But furthermore, though, upon thinking about it, it makes me wonder what it implies about the game. I mean, here I am playing this game that's renowned for being super complicated, too many details, it's just hard to keep track of what you're doing. And here I am, I want another step involved. For a while I thought, well, maybe that says more about me than the game. But when I thought about it more, I came to the conclusion that I think it's a defensible complaint that we can't do combos. To me, I think the underlying theme is that, yes, this game is complicated, but really, once you get it down and you understand it, then it does make an internal logic. And from that point on, yes, you do want to build on it. Well, it's just food for thought. It would definitely make it something that they could consider for a sequel. Although, I don't think this game will ever get a sequel, unfortunately. Anyway, just my 2 cents. Okay. And probably my sloppiest scene yet. Glad to have you, Rolf. Same to you. All right. Okay, let's save. Okay, here we are at the inventory screen. As always, I'm going to cut out what I actually do, so I will be waiting for you guys on the other side. Okay, we're back, and just to let you know what you missed, nothing. I didn't do a damn thing. None of my weapons really needed to be attended to. They didn't need to be fused or strengthened at this point, I didn't think. And at this point, I don't have any reason to trans-soul because none of my knights that I consider are main knights, they're not approaching their cap for levels. And as of right now, I'm pretty satisfied with how much damage they're doing with their attacks. Furthermore, I didn't bother to level anyone up yet either, because the knights that I plan to use for the rest of the game, so Johann, Moira, Dreas, so far they have not really been restricted on which weapons I wanted to use based on their level, so I didn't bother leveling them up. So, not a damn thing. Okay, let's move on. Alright, there's another section of the story for us to ponder. We watched as, in a flashback, 7 nights before the tragedy at the castle, there's apparently some miscommunication going on, or some misdirection. There were reports of trouble that caused the knights to leave the castle to investigate, but they don't seem to be true. So that's interesting. Then, in the present time cutscene, we saw that there was an order issued for the knights to pull back to the castle, even though they hadn't found the armored maiden that stole the king's soul. Then we met a new character, a comrade of sorts of Aquina. His name was Lionel, and he seemed to be pretty aloof. There seemed to be a little tension in their conversation, and Aquina referenced the fact that the Tiamat princess is missing, Princess Alier. Now remember, that princess was betrothed to the prince, and now apparently they can't find her. Now remember that Aquina was last seen talking to Capehorn, and don't forget, Capehorn is Peach's grandfather. Anyway, based on that, and the conversation here between Aquina and Lionel, I think that we can safely conclude that Capehorn is in fact the cardinal that we've heard about. So, we know that he was the one who promoted some witch to general. I think that was within the Third Order of Knights, but I'm not sure. Additionally, he has been mentioned here and there between the knights when they make small talk between themselves. He appears to be a key player in this kingdom, and to be honest, he's shady as hell. I don't think I like Capehorn, and by extension, I don't like Aquina and Lionel either. Although, to be honest, Lionel comes off as a douchebag anyway. Okay, I think that covers the cutscenes, but I want to talk about Rolf a little. So, about Rolf. He was the wizard that we just recruited, and just like any other knight, he was found in one of the scenes, and since he was a silhouette, we know that he was dead. So same as any other knight, at some point he died. The thing is, we've actually seen Rolf in the game before this scene. If you remember, way back in the flashback cutscene we saw after the battle of Scene 3, we saw Rolf when he was alive. The game referred to him as Young Commander, but that was his portrait. So, we can start to draw some conclusions based on the scraps of information we get from the game. Now, during flashback cutscenes, the game gives us fairly specific time frames. The cutscene I'm talking about here was set one day after the tragedy of Eventhium Castle. For our knowledge, we can assume that the tragedy was when the shit hit the fan, and presumably when the king died. Although that's just an assumption right now. But if we go with it, then we know the game started after this time frame, since the dead king is who we're playing as. So, we can start to cobble together a timeline. It has a lot of holes, but it can kind of function, sort of. So let's start adding stuff we know. As of right now, the earliest part of our timeline is going to be the tragedy at Eventhium Castle. Now, somewhere along the way, the Armored Maiden released us from the urn, and the game began. It's hard to gauge how much time passes between rounds, but we do have specific dates given to us during flashbacks. So anyway, at some point the game begins, and we fight through some scenes. Before I get too far, I need to talk about that one cutscene a little bit more. We actually saw more knights than just Rolf. We saw Marden, the Lance Knight, and Michelle, a warrior that we transsouled to Johann. The gist of the flashback was that Michelle had washed up on the lake shore of Regniberg, where Rolf and Marden were stationed. Rolf and Marden didn't know who Michelle was, but they recognized an emblem on his armor. So from that, they knew he was a knight of the 8th Order. I should take this time to mention that, so far, most of the knights we've recruited have belonged to the 11th Order. We can see that if we touch a knight on the inventory screen when we're distributing experience points. I haven't really called attention to it in the past, but it bears mention now. The point is that the 11th Order is made of mostly inexperienced knights, and they are stationed to the east, far away from the more conflicted areas of the kingdom. You can see this if you let the game sit idle on the title screen. After a while it enters, I think it's called attract mode or something. Anyway, you get a short scene explaining the orders. It goes by really quick though, so it can be hard to read. Anyway, Rolf and Marden both belong to the 11th Order, while Michelle belonged to the 8th Order. And Rolf and Marden were stationed fairly far away from the castle. So we can start building some conjecture here. We have our timeline starting at the tragedy occurring at Aventhium Castle, and then a day later, Michel washes up on the shore of the lake. Rolf and Martin say that he belongs to the Eighth Order, and so he must have drifted from the other side of the lake. I think it's a safe bet that Michel was at the castle when the tragedy occurred, and presumably everyone got their asses kicked. Michel apparently survived, but was thrown into the lake at some point, and then he drifted to the opposite shore, where Rolf and Martin found him. They wake him up, but of course he has amnesia. Later, we begin the game. Or, for all I know, we begin the game before that cutscene. I honestly don't know right now, but let's assume we begin the game after. So, we go on our merry way, killing random forest enemies. Eventually, we get to Scene 3, and we recruit Martin and Michel. This scene took place in the Northeast Vald, for whatever that's worth. I don't think I'm going to attempt to draw a map of this kingdom, but the important thing is, we know that when we recruit Martin and Michel, they're dead. So, we know that they died sometime between the flashback and Scene 3. We don't know if they died at the same time, but it does look likely since their spirits were within close proximity of each other. After all, they were found in Scene 3, both of them. At any rate, we keep wisping along, having our adventures, and eventually killing the werewolf. Finally, we reach Scene 6, and there's Rolf. So, we know he's died at some point too. We don't know exactly when he died, we might not ever, but we can narrow it down to the time between the flashback and Scene 6. So it's a neat bit of story that we've pieced together. The game makes no real effort to fill in the blanks for you, and the shifting flashbacks really make it complicated, but there are clues. Anyway, every now and then I'll try and pop in with little things like this. I don't know how interesting you guys will find it. I'm trying to draw out every flashback and every scene and how it relates. I'm going to need a friggin' chalkboard or something. Anyway, that concludes this video. Next time we'll recruit our final knight class, the Priestess, and at that point we'll have one of every knight class. So I guess I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.